This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
Really happy to have the legend himself here, Tim Sebastian. Tim, good morning.
It's great to be here. My only problem with legend is that most of them are dead, but I'm still actually alive. I'm glad to say, but thanks anyway.
The living legend, so
That's
to say.
much better. Thank you.
You know, I was just having a conversation before I got into the studio, and I said, I've reached a point in my life where my wife, when we go out socially, she says, you're just constantly thinking about radio. Do you realize you become a boring person? It's always about what's going to be on the radio
It's
the
always
next
good to
day.
have fans like that close to you, isn't it?
The story, all the stories you've been chasing all those years.
I forget. It's so long ago.
Come on, Tim. It's obviously got to be an obsession stroke passion for you to be doing it year after year after year.
It's a way of life.
It's a way of life, yeah.
It's a way of life, and it's ingrained in you, and you are addicted to it, to seeing what's changing hour by hour.
Would you remember the first story you ever put out?
I remember the first story I chased.
Tell us about
I
that.
was a journalism student. They said, go out and get a story.
Okay.
So I had this beaten up old red Volkswagen and I parked it outside a fire station, and I thought I was going to be very clever because when the fire bell went off and the fire engine was called to scene of an emergency, all I would have to do was follow it. Unfortunately, I waited so long I fell asleep at the wheel of my car. I woke up to see the
Not very
fire
James
engine.
Bondish.
Not very James Bond. Woke up to see the engine flashing away, and they lost me at the lights. So that was my first story that I tried.
true
I got better. I have to say.
I can imagine looking at your body of work. Okay, we're going to play some music for you. Would you like to pick a song, preferably from the 70s, 80s, or 90s? Because that's the format of the morning show. So
Let
what
me
can we
be
play for you?
boring. Simon and Garfunkel.
Ah, lovely. Any particular favorites?
Yes, Sound of Silence.
Fantastic. S&G for you, 94.3 Radio 1 in conversation with Tim Sebastian. Come back.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
He's getting me a little nervous here. Tim Sebastian in conversation with me, 94.3 Radio 1. He's getting me nervous because he says he's been in radio too, and you started your career in radio.
I actually started in agency journalism. I worked first of all for Reuters, then I joined the BBC Radio. First of all, the Russian service. It's one of my languages, so we broadcast to the old USSR as it was then. And then as a radio correspondent, I was posted abroad to Eastern Europe just before the revolutions there started in the 1980s. So radio was a big thing for me. It was a fantastic medium. I had to shout a lot because the phone lines were pretty bad in those days. You can't imagine, can you? I mean, technology is what we never knew was going to reach this level, this extraordinary level, where you can hear somebody in perfect sound right around the world. But we were shouting down telephone lines. I had to wait 4 hours to get a call through to London from somewhere like Warsaw, capital of Poland. 4 hours. If it came through, I could just about hear somebody at the other end. So we got very used to shouting down phone lines.
Are you still doing some radio?
Occasionally, when I'm allowed to. Yeah.
You have the best face for radio, Tim Sebastian.
This is what they always used to say. I'm leaving now. I don't know. I don't need to sit here and take this, do I? I don't. No. Where's the door? He's coloured all the walls in the studio, so you can't even find the door out. Captive audience. Maybe
See,
I'm the only one. Maybe there's nobody out there anyway.
Can you imagine being brought all the way to India and being subjected to this?
I don't have to imagine it. It's real time.
Yeah. This is going to be fun. Tim Sebastian is in India because he's shooting a series called The Outsider. We will tell you more about that. Stick with us. Let's have some music. 94.3 Radio 1.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
We're having a bit of a laugh with an illegal immigrant.
Oh, that's just great. I get out of here and there's going to be a riot outside. The police will be there. I get taken to the airport. Thanks very much. It was hard enough to get a visa to come in the first place. You've done wonders for me.
Tim Sebastian, the Doha debates, Hard Talk, and now The Outsider. Well, coming to India, you've got to do your homework. How much reading have you done, really, before you started filming for the show?
An enormous amount, and it keeps on going. Books, articles, magazines, YouTube, you name it. We have a fantastic team of researchers, and they do the initial trawl through the material according to the subjects that we're looking at. So it's a big deal. Look, I'll tell you one thing. What you put into an interview or a debate decides exactly what you're going to get out of it. So the more preparation you do, the better the program is going to be. If it looks easy, it's only because a lot of work has gone into it. It needs to look easy, but you need to study very, very hard. When I was doing a program called Hard Talk on the BBC, 7.5 years, these were in-depth, 25-minute interviews, 5 days a week. I never got away from homework. I mean, I was sitting doing this night after night, day after day. But it's the only way you can take on people who live and breathe their subject every day, who are experts in their particular field. How else are you to take them on unless you study hard?
Don't be all womanly about this, but I got to ask you, how old are you?
Old manly. I'm 60.
60. Say a little younger than my old man. I can't get my dad to use the iPad or the Kindle. So how do you do your reading? Are you still like the book man who goes through the files and the pages? Are you all tech savvy?
I'm a bit of a geek, actually,
That's nice.
where computers are concerned. I've actually been lent an iPad for the first time since I came to India, so that's been a huge
And are you using
huge
it?
revelation. I do use it from time to time. I use it. I mean, it's an extraordinary device.
It is,
and,
isn't it?
and I love the power that technology gives you and the ease with which you can just dial up different sources of information. Fantastic.
In conversation with Tim Sebastian, don't go anywhere. Time to pick another song.
Go somewhere. Go somewhere. Go on. We'll still be here.
We have nothing better to do. Another song. What can we play for you?
You at least are getting paid for this. This is the difference why you're sitting there. I'm the crazy one to come in and subject myself to this.
See how when the tables are turned, Mr. Sebastian, life comes full circle.
Give me Dire Straits.
Oh, lovely. Are you going to be boring and say money for nothing? Oh, you've said Brothers in Arms. Amazing.
There you are.
Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I got there first.
Yeah. 94.3 Radio 1 where all the action is.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
Did you think you'd switch on the radio this morning and find Tim Sebastian? Yes, the ghost has come out of the television screen to take over your life.
The monster lives. The monster breathes.
How are you doing with Indian food, my friend? Are you okay on the spices, or you have enough of it back home in Old Blighty?
I had a little moment of hesitation, a few moments of hesitation, but I think my stomach is acclimatized now. The food's fantastic. The food's incredibly tasty, but we're no strangers, as you suggest. We're no strangers to Indian food in Britain.
You know, a section of Indians is a little worried about somebody from Britain coming here and doing a show. We'll tell you why. We've just had a very unfortunate turn of events where Oprah Winfrey has come in here, not done enough research, with all due respect to her, not done enough reading, probably went to a couple of high-profile page 3 parties and decided to film a series in the country. Your take on people, on foreigners, so to say, or people from other countries, from both sides of the Atlantic, Europe and America, coming here and doing television. Your thoughts?
Well, look, let me just ask you what's behind that question. There's a good degree of sensitivity here, isn't there, about what the rest of the world thinks. And I have to say, I think that's going to have to change, because you're a global power now. You're a big player on the international stage, and you want to be a big player on the international stage. What goes with that is a lot of people coming in and criticizing what you do. It's a very bright, very powerful, and sometimes a very unpleasant international spotlight that goes with it. But all I can say is get used to it. That's part of being a global player. If you don't want the rest of the world, close all the doors, close all the windows, don't let anybody in, and just do what you want. But you don't want to do that. You're pushing to be a huge player in global trade, global politics. Unfortunately, that spotlight comes with it. I know there was a big fuss because, Time Magazine or Newsweek did an article about Manmohan Singh, which caused everybody to say, how dare they talk about him like that? Well, look at the kind of press that Obama gets from his own people. Look at David Cameron. Look what these people get every single day.
And they have the most dastardly species after them, stand-up comics.
Absolutely. And puppets. Worse than stand-up puppets playing the part of them. Yeah. So get used to it. Develop a big skin, because that's part of being a global player.
Okay, you've started filming for the show. It's not on air as yet, so I'm not going to ask you to divulge great secrets, but the kind of talent that you found, people from various colleges, educational institutions, how's that been, the Indian experience?
You mean the audience?
The audience, yeah.
The audience have been fantastic. The audience are the real stars of the show, but we work with them. We send them trainers to try and get them to think in detail about the kinds of subjects and how they're going to ask questions. We send them fact sheets as well, because they really have to perform form here.
Yeah, that's right.
If the audience is good, the show is going to be good. So we think it's a good investment. It's part of the legacy that we hope to leave behind, which is encouraging a lot more young people to play a part, if you like, in the political life of their country, ask relevant questions, ask compelling questions, and more than that, insist on getting answers. Because this is what a debate is. It's challenge and it's accountability. Hold these people to account. They're your public servants. You don't like what they're doing? Question them. Make sure you get the answers. Don't sleepwalk into elections. Whichever way you vote doesn't matter, but as long as you do it from a point of view, an informed point of view, as somebody who's asked the questions that they need to know, instead of just putting an X by a name because, hey, your parents did it or your friends are doing something like that. So get more involved. This is the message of The Outsider. Get involved in your daily politics and ask those questions. And the other thing is that, of course, this show is different because it's being shown to the outside world as well. So we're showcasing Indian views. We're showing what people think here, the huge diversity of opinion. We're trying to reflect some of that.
The good, the bad, the ugly, everything.
Well, the differences. It's
yeah.
fantastic variety.
I'm going to ask Tim about the format of the show up ahead. Stay with us, 94.3 Radio 1.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
Tim Sebastian is here in India and he's here for a very valid reason. He's filming The Outsider, which is a series of 13 episodes where, well, they're debating certain things. Tell us about the format of the show. For the motion, against the motion, is it good old public school debating?
It's a bit more streamlined than that. We do have a motion, which is a controversial statement.
Yeah.
We have 2 speakers for, 2 speakers against. Our job is to make sure it's a fair debate. So we don't want one side better equipped than the other. We want people to speak in the same way, but to be able to challenge each other on an equal playing field. And it's my job to make sure that both sides have a chance to speak. We take a vote before the debate from the audience to see what views they're bringing into the hall to begin with, and we take another vote at the end of the debate. And without giving away any secrets, the 2 debates we've recorded so far, we've seen pretty impressive swings of opinion after the debate, which shows a great thing for us. People are coming in with open minds, they're listening, and they're prepared to change their mind about some key issues affecting their life. And I think that's great. You can't ask for much more in a debate than that. These young people come in, some of them very opinionated, some of them very well informed, and they come with the received wisdom of their friends and their parents and their school, and they listen, and guess what? They change their mind. Isn't that fantastic?
I think it is. As a moderator, when do you know you have to jump in? I mean, I've been doing this for a few years now, not as many as you have gone through, but it's always the big thing. When do I moderate? When do I jump in? When do I keep quiet? Do you just go by gut instinct? How does it work?
I think you've got to have a plan. I think you know where you want to get to, and you know what you want the people there to say. And if they're going off at a tangent and they're giving you the party political line, you need to step in and challenge them. This isn't supposed to be a free ride for anybody. This broadcasting lark. It's not for me, not for you. There are no free rides in broadcasting. Otherwise, pay for an ad, and say what you want during that. But if you're coming on one of these programs, you're going to have to work for it, because we're going to ask you the questions that count, and we want compelling answers out of you. So don't give us the same old nonsense over and over again, because we don't want it, and the audience doesn't want it. They want to hear a little better than that. So work for it. That's the message we give to the people who come on the program.
What do you do when you're not working, or do you ever not work?
Oh boy, what do I do? Films, television. I have three kids. They're all grown up. I try to find out what they're doing and tell them to stop it, but that doesn't work very well.
That's one area where you're not going to be successful.
They're long past that age, and as I tell them, I still have one power over you, and it's the power the parent never gives up. It's the power to embarrass their children. But I intend to use it very sparingly. But I still have it.
But anybody in broadcasting out of those 3?
Yes, one is a producer for CNN in London. Yep.
Up ahead, I'm going to ask Tim about his producer on The Outsider. I'm led to believe a long, abiding working relationship. So we're going to talk about that. 94.3 Radio 1.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
And I am with Tim Sebastian. He's in India filming The Outsider, a TV series which, as of now, has an Indian broadcast partner, which is Bloomberg. As far as the international broadcast partner is concerned, we will let you know in future shows. The producer of the show is somebody you have an abiding professional relationship. Talk about him, her.
Yes, I am so lucky. Her name is Tanya Saksuski. She's from Australia. We've worked on Hard Talk together, the Doha debates. How on earth she has has put up with me for well over 10 years now, I will never know. But she manages to keep her humour. She manages to focus also on 16 different things at the same time, which is quite beyond my abilities.
An Aussie and a Brit working together.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez. Strange things happen in this
Well,
world, Tim.
we got through all the jokes. We've done all the jokes. So we don't need to go back over that. Things like I would say to her, the old immigration joke about the Brit arriving at the immigration in Sydney and the officer says, do you have a criminal record? And the Brit says, I didn't know that was still a qualification for getting into the country. So we've done all those jokes. We're long past that. And we work very well together. But it just goes to show the team, and she is at the top of the team, it's absolutely essential to getting this right. Broadcasting is such a team effort, as you know. So many of the ducks have to sit up and quack at the same time. The technical, the production, the people, the cars, the guest bookings, all these kinds of things. And guest bookings are really, really important. Who you're going to get to actually speak for the motion, against the motion. All these things are crucial. And at the end of the day, there's you trying your best not to let this team down because they've put in so much work. And that's one of my major motivations. Don't screw up, because everybody else has put so much time and effort into this, and now they're looking to you to put the final icing on the cake. So don't screw it up. That's what's going through my mind when I sit there waiting for the lights to go on and the titles to run. Please get it right.
There are some people who are just gifted, and you have the gift, and which is why you're doing what you're doing. I mean, I think it's just a fantastic partnership, the two of you. You know what she does so well, and you do so well.
I don't know about gift. I think it's graft more than gift. I think it's hard work that goes into it. You really have to take it seriously. And I'm nervous every time I go into a studio.
You are still.
I'm nervous. I've always been nervous. Actually, when I first started in broadcasting, my hand used to shake so much when I was holding a microphone. I used to say, please, give me a clip-on mic. Have it on the lapel, because I can't hold that microphone still. My hand was shaking so much.
But there's another way of looking at it. If you don't have the knot in your stomach, you're probably overconfident. So it's good, isn't it, to have a knot in the stomach?
I think you should use the nerves to keep you focused, to keep you from getting complacent. Because you can make an idiot out of yourself, and I probably have done on this show. You can make an idiot out of yourself very quickly and very easily.
I was seeing this documentary of the Rolling Stones, and they're asking Mick Jagger, and they're going, so what do you do before a concert? And he goes, I do this, I wake up in the morning and I do this, and it's all coming together. And they go to Keith Richards and they say, so what do you do before a gig? Just wake up.
Waking up, showing up, it's absolutely vital.
I can't tell you how much fun I had. It was marvelous. I wouldn't say sharing a mic with you, but being in the same room as you, Tim Sebastian.
Thank you very much. It's been a great pleasure. Thanks for your time.
And before you leave, one last song.
It's got to be the Beatles.
Very good.
She loves you.
She loves you. Tim Sebastian was with us.
In the hope that she does.
You're still hoping. 60 and bright. The Outsider on Bloomberg. Whenever you see listings for it, you know what to switch on. Tim Sebastian will be on it. Thank you very much. 94.3 Radio 1.